Oh, my goodness.
All right, Anthony, let's get to some football here.
All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about how do you think the Browns should approach the preseason, especially with injuries and who we want to see being played?
Well, guys, couple things.
Go ahead.
Joe Burrow yesterday, I'm sure a lot of Bengal fans.
You passed out. I heard your legs went limp.
I was a little freaked out. Because if Joe Burrow gets hurt, their season's over.
Finished.
That's it. End of season.
It's done.
No, they was going to trade for Trey Lance.
Stop.
The Bengals go from one of the Super Bowl favorites to out of the mix. That's simple.
In one day.
In one day, if that happens.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. You know who their backup quarterback is?
I have no idea.
Trevor Siemian.
Oh, yeah, they're done.
Yeah, exactly.
They're done.
And that's the case with almost any contending team. Because
no, we got Josh Dobbs.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. They're going to the Super Bowl with Josh Dobbs. So now it looks like Burrow has avoided the worst of it. It looks like a strained calf. If it's a grade 1, he'll definitely be back for week 1, supposedly. If it's a grade 2, he's questionable for week 1. If it's a grade 3, then it's a little more serious, but it appears it's not that. We'll see what happens to him. He's been snake bit every training camp that something happens to him for whatever reason. But, and we saw also, what's his name? The DB on the Dolphins got hurt.
Jalen
Ramsey. He may be out for most of the season.
They said he ain't coming back till December.
Yeah.
Season.
So if they say he's coming back in December, you're right. Like,
That's that Deshaun Watson sentence.
Right.
You got 6 games left, you ain't playing.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So, listen, we always have this debate every year about rest versus rust. We saw real rust last year with Deshaun Watson. I think we all underrated how much rust he was going to have because it was clear he had a lot. Mm-hmm. Now, he's not missing a whole season or 3/4 of a season this year, but he's a guy who could use some reps more than most veteran quarterbacks because he hasn't played a lot the last 2 years. And yet you're always and yet, like we say with Burrow, the reality is if Deshaun Watson gets hurt, then any hopes of winning a Super Bowl go out the window. So what do you do? How do you balance it?
I think if the Players Association is listening, there's one thing that you guys can do, right? If you want to give back some of the revenue, that's cool. If you want to negotiate a different split, but you guys got to do everything in your power to say, look, we're not playing no preseason games. Ask yourself this question. Do colleges play preseason games?
They do not.
Okay. Now, that works out pretty well for them, right?
No.
Why not?
Because it's boring.
Okay. Well, at least you keep your players healthy and you can win the national championship.
Well, the big difference is that you got 85 kids on scholarship. You got 90 men on rosters that's trying to make it. So that your only way of seeing how they will do in the game is to let them play.
Well, you're gonna have to extrapolate. You're gonna have to be like, okay.
It's some people that don't do well in practice but do well in the game. For example, me as a rookie in Seattle, my coach was like, I don't think you're gonna make it. Well, I went out in that game and had a game. He said, "Oh, you just a gamer."
Couldn't you just have guys battling for roster spots playing those games?
Yes.
Or is there some, as a former player, do you think there are important things for veterans to get used to in the preseason? Is there a point to playing?
Yes, it's a point to playing because we've seen that teams come out. Obviously, every year, ever since the preseason has went down to 3 games or whatever the case may be, we've seen offenses start off very slow in the NFL. I mean, it's like it takes like 3 weeks for the offenses to get clicking. And I think that it's because they're not playing as much in the preseason because you're trying to make it fair for those guys who are battling for the job. You want them to have the majority of the reps so you can see what it's like, so you can know who you pick to keep on your 53-man roster. If you get rid of the preseason game, you can forget about all of that, first of all. But I do believe that the veterans need to play more, but not that much. Like I said, it's a good recipe when you play
it's
a
hard
quarter
to find that
to a half.
balance.
Yeah,
it's a misnomer, bull. It is. Listen. When there was COVID, they didn't do nothing.
That's true.
They sat in rooms and you were quarantined, and they still got it done. The reason they run preseason games is because of money. It is what it is.
Because if you buy season tickets, you got to buy the preseason
games.
Is that true?
And
I've never bought a ticket in my life.
There's different cable companies that own the rights to show these preseason games.
That's true.
So they're not. That's the reason they do it. Now, for me, they should come out and play week 1. Who cares if the product is bad? Like, people crack me up with that. Well, you'll be watching defenses for 2 weeks then, 3 weeks, until they get better. But for me, I'm not going to go out here, and I know it's kind of contradictory because I just said, like, probably 2 or 3 days ago that I would play them more in the preseason. But like you said, when you get new information, I'm like, hold on, let me think about this. If your quarterback, say for instance, if Deshaun Watson got hurt and he was done for the season, everybody
screwed.
Coach getting fired.
Yeah,
everybody. It's all done just because one person.
I think y'all looking at this in fear. That's
true.
It's fear.
You can't live in your fears.
The thing about football is if you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hurt no matter what. Like that's just what it is. You know, it's the football guy said it's your time to get hurt, and you're just gonna get hurt. Whether you play them a lot or play them none, these dudes back in the day used to play every game and they never got hurt. So why is it today all of a sudden y'all are afraid?
Well, I don't know that they never got hurt, but
okay, they got
not necessarily any more than now.
Right. So I don't understand.
I mean, it was a little tougher. They had to go to wars, literally.
That's fine. That's fine. But the thing about this is, like I say, the reason that training camp is such a touchy thing because you go from not doing, I ain't gonna say you're not doing anything. You're training for 6 weeks, but you're not playing football. The only way to get into football shape is to play football. So now you're trying to get your body back to playing football at a rapid pace, and that's why your injuries are coming to take place. So that's why you see guys go down. I think the Browns are doing it the best way with this, having this extra week. They spent the whole week just jogging around, not even running full speed, jogging routes and stuff like that.
Well,
and it's helping their bodies get back to what they're used to doing before they go 0 to 100.
I think all teams now are ramping up a little slower in the beginning, as opposed, they take some time before they get in pads, for example, right? And build up to it. So ultimately, how much do you think Deshaun Watson should play in the preseason?
I think he should play a quarter in the second game and a half in the third, and then sit out the fourth.
Do you not want him to play at all now?
I wouldn't be salty if he didn't. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be upset.
The guy that you seen, so you uncomfortable because he only took the one series in the first game, and we really didn't see him in the second or third.
Right.
So, and you seen how that rolled out after 11 weeks. So you're comfortable knowing that information because you fear that the quarterback that don't really do that much is gonna get hurt. That's what you think.
I don't like that. I don't like people rolling out, pulling up.
Yeah.
I
get why everybody's
that.
scared. I was freaking out with Burrow yesterday. In the end, I think you're right, Tyvis. I don't think you want to overdo it with using guys in the preseason. And I heard yesterday, Tiki Barber, who's now doing afternoons on the Fan in New York, and I like Tiki. He's like, the wussification of football, nobody plays. That's stupid. You got to be smart about keeping players healthy. But I think Deshaun Watson needs some reps. I think he does need reps.
At this point, Kevin Stefanski is a bye week away from either being employed or not. He's going out there. I don't care what you talking about. If my job is on the line, this thing has to work for the first 4 games.
I look at it this way. I always told people, if I'm gonna play, I'm gonna get hurt in a game. I'm not about to get hurt in no practice, bro.
Okay,
and so
the preseason is a game.
And so or if this is gonna be preseason, I'm gonna just let these backups play.
CG, that's the problem, and I'm coming at it from a different. My outlook on it is totally different because of where I was at. I was an undrafted guy fighting for this. If you take away my preseason games and I don't have a chance to make this roster, then that means coming into the season they got their 53-man roster already made up.
You gonna play every game.
That's fine. That's fine if that's the case.
Y'all gonna play every game.
That's fine.
Listen,
but you talking about getting rid of preseason games, period.
But if you're
what they do in college, they just go right to the season.
If you're the Bengals right now, you don't care if Joe Burrow at this point plays in the preseason.
No.
Even if he's ready to go by the second or third preseason
No, he's not going to play in the preseason.
Not interested.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson has missed so much time the last 2 years.
He has to.
That it feels like it would be helpful for him to play in those games.
I'm not about to let an injury that he already didn't he have a leg injury or something?
Man, he done tore 2 ACLs before.
Yeah,
I'm not about to think.
No.
I get it. Here's the thing about football. You ain't never gonna be right no more. The thing is, let's get them ramped up. Well, you don't tackle no more. They took tackling out because they realized tackling is bad for you.
Right.
That's the thing about football. It ain't basketball. It's okay, let's shoot jumpers and we can do light. Anytime you step on that football field, there is a chance of you never returning. It's just what it is.
I'll tell you something they should do in the preseason, and I know the old school wussification people that complain about the sports being too soft will hate this, and probably the defensive players will hate this. You should not be able to sack a quarterback in the preseason.
Get out of here. Get out. Unmic yourself and walk off the set. Don't, shut up.
At least I tried to get rid of it.
Shut your mouth. I can't believe that you just said something like that.
They should absolutely do that.
No.
What is the benefit to hitting quarterback? The quarterbacks of the whole league, they're the most important players. That's a fact.
Ain't got nothing to do. Listen,
you can't get them hurt.
It ain't my quarterback.
That's the point.
My point is
don't matter.
No, they do matter.
No, they don't.
If my DN goes out there and sacks the other team's quarterback, you know who will thank him? 17 teams would say, thank you for doing that because you just made it easy for us.
What do you mean made it easy for you? Because he's hurt?
Because the quarterback's hurt. I don't have to worry about that quarterback
but the league doesn't want quarterbacks to get hurt, and nobody wants.
Well, clearly, that's why they came out when Tom Brady got hit. That's what they did.
Let's go.
I mean, you can't really hit him now to begin with anyway.
Football for the quarterback.
What are you talking about? You can barely touch him now.
In the preseason. I'm not talking about the regular season.
No. They better have a quick whistle.
No, it's going to be
the referee better get a quick whistle.
You're out.
The offensive line better do a better job protecting their product. If it's that important, you need to spend more money on your offensive line.
I just feel like, you only have a certain amount of plays, when you playing football.
It's a dog-eat-dog.
And you don't even really know how many plays that is. You just keep going to practice and doing it. But you're going to have to figure out a way. Because I'm going to say it like this. If Joe Burrow had got hurt for the whole season, don't act like that would not have changed the way coaches is thinking.
100%.
Like, if he gets hurt for the season and let another quarterback go down, it's going to be people like, nah, we ain't playing.
That's the thing.
And that's not necessarily right or smart.
No, but it doesn't even make sense. Joe Burrow got hurt from nobody touching him, from him rolling out, trying to throw a ball. So what are you going to change? What, we're not going to practice no more?
First of all, he had the sleeve on, right? Evidently,
what does that have to do? Oh, my God.
Evidently, he already had the sleeve on, and he was not looking like he was 100%.
This is a shame.
So let me ask you a question. If you got the sleeve
James
on.
Rapine said he was looking good before
this is a shame.
I seen him make a throw. I said, you looking gimpy, bro. I see him like this.
So what are you going to change? What would you have done differently?
Well, I've already told you what I do.
No, I'm talking about if you was the Cincinnati Bengals.
You're right. It's a freak accident. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
But teams will panic about it.
But here's what.
Then what are they going to change, bull? We're not going to practice now?
Yeah, fair.
He got hurt rolling out in practice. Nobody touched him. What do you want to do?
Watch this. This is cold. This cold right here. If, say, for instance, Joe Burrow was unfortunately out for the season, right? If all of a sudden, 2 days later, Lamar Jackson out for the season.
This happened before, actually.
If I'm the Browns, Deshaun Watson is on ice. He's not doing nothing.
That's sad.
Listen, what you mean that's sad?
That's so sad.
What you mean, Tyvis? You got an opportunity.
Listen.
That's the division.
Hold on, wait a minute.
That's the division.
So let me talk to you from experience.
Okay.
All right. Can I go back to my college days?
Go ahead.
Let me remind you of 2014 of a training camp. What happened? We was in practice. The Ohio State Buckeyes was getting ready to go in the season. We got a quarterback that's a Heisman hopeful.
Braxton Miller?
Braxton Miller goes down. Nobody touches him. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we like, oh, man, the season's over. You know what happened at the end of that year? Steve, can you get a close-up on this?
College.
Can you get a close-up on this thing
That's
right
not
here?
happening in the NFL.
This so happened to happen. Now, our starting quarterback went down.
Yeah.
But at the end of 2014 season, you see that happened. So
that's a bad comparison.
So I'm just saying,
and
it happened
because
you're right, but that don't happen in the NFL.
Did it not happen?
But it did happen in the NFL actually because Nick Foles.
Well, that's,
exactly.
Well, let's be clear. Be clear. Let's give them the total picture. The reason that happened was they had a highly recruited quarterback from Texas named J.T. Barrett.
Was he highly recruited?
Yes, he was. He was
a 4-star?
We would have took a 4-star on you. We don't sniff 4 stars.
What difference does that make?
That's how much talent you got. You ain't.
Oh my God!
You got a 5-star. You don't count.
At this
and
here.
by the way, by the way, hold on. By the way, you also had Cardell Jones.
So let me give you a more recent one.
Y'all had 6
you ready
quarterbacks.
For this one? The San Francisco 49ers took a quarterback. They traded 2 first-round picks, took a quarterback with, I think, the 3rd pick of the draft. He goes down. They bring in Mr. What is it called? Irrelevant.
No, actually,
Mr.
they brought in
Irrelevant.
Jimmy Garoppolo, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So they went and got Jimmy G. He was a 2nd-round pick.
Mr. Irrelevant came in there, undefeated,
Played well.
Undefeated. And took them to place that nobody thought that they would go.
I think in the end, I think you get a little extreme in your example.
It's not extreme.
However,
how is that not? Explain to me how that's extreme.
Because it's unusual for a guy drafted that late to end up being
What
good.
I'm saying is it happens.
It happens, sure. In the end, I do agree. Like, even if Burrow and Lamar Jackson on back-to-back days went out for the year, Deshaun Watson isn't any more likely to get hurt because of that.
But I'm putting him on bubble wrap.
But I think Tyvis is right. You can't live in your fear.
It depends on how Lamar went down.